Previously, we learned how to code or encode messages using matrices. Now we're going to work on decoding a message. So someone sent you the message and you want to get back to the actual letters and know what they're trying to say. So step one, you need to find the multiplicative inverse of the given coding matrix. You are going to write the coded message matrix from the coded message. Start with the top left corner and list vertically. And the coded message matrix should have the same size or same order as the coding matrix. Okay, so we're working backwards. We are going to multiply the coding matrix inverse by the coded message matrix. Again, in that order. A or A inverse always comes first. And your result is the regular message matrix. And working backwards, need to write it as a horizontal, starting with the top left column and pulling the numbers out from their vertical positions. And then you need to go back to your letters with A equal to 1, B equal to 2, so forth and so on. If you have a 0, remember that is a space. Okay. All right. So first example with decoding, they say use the coding matrix inverse. So notice that here they actually gave us the inverse. That's one less step for us to do to decode this message. And that is a pretty long strand, not in terms of a message, but for us to work with doing by hand. So A inverse is a 2 by 2, which means that we're only going to have room for 4 of these numbers in a matrix, which means we are going to have 2 coded message matrices. So first one and then the second will be the second 4. Okay, so our first coded message matrix is going to start with top left, 135. We're going to list vertically, so 51. And then we need 56 in column 2, our top right, negative 42. And then our second coded message matrix is going to start with 73 in the top left, with 112 right below it, and then 79 and 122. We don't need to find A inverse because they already gave us A inverse. So we need to make sure that A inverse does come first though. So we're going to have 5 over 29, negative 3 over 29 going across the top row, then 3 over 29, 4 over 29. That A inverse has to come first. We're going to take that times our coded message matrices, both of them, starting with the first coded message matrix, because it has to be in that order. Otherwise, we are going to get the message mixed up. I'm going to go ahead and set up my coded message matrix second multiplication, where again, I will have A inverse times the second matrix All right, we have 2 by 2 times a 2 by 2, which means we're going to wind up with a 2 by 2 in both cases. So I am going to go ahead and create a 2 by 2 work matrix for both of these, giving myself a little bit of extra room than normal because multiplying by the fractions means that my work is a little bit longer. All right, here we go. First row times first column. So we're going to have 5 over 29 times 135 plus, because it's always plus, negative 3 over 29 times 51. Second column times our first row, but first row times second column. Remember RC cola. So 5 over 29 times 56 plus negative 3 over 29 times negative 42. Remember, multiplying the first 2 entries and adding the multiplication of the second 2 entries for each of these columns. And I'm realizing now I did not label these with our multiplication. So if you were counting on that, I do apologize. I will put that work in right now. So you are taking row 1 up top, row 2 down below, and we'll be taking row 1 and then again row 2. All right, let's go ahead and work on that row 2. We're going to have 3 over 29. And some of you may be wondering how I do the second row so quickly. Keep in mind that they have to line up. So I'm just immediately copying those down. So as long as I can remember that I need to change my orange numbers, which in this case, that 4 over 29. Let's see if I can write that a little bit better. That looks horrible. There we go. I know I'm going to immediately need the 51 next to it. Then my orange numbers repeat. So 3 over 29. And then my 4 over 29. And I'm going to carry down my purple numbers. 56, negative 42. If you do this multiplication, our top one left should be 18, then 21, 14, and 0. Let's do the other multiplication. So again, we're going to be taking row 1 times column 1. So our 5 over 29 times something plus negative 3 over 29 times something. It'll be the 73 and 112. With row 1, column 2, we're still going to reuse our orange numbers since we're in row 1, remembering that we have the plus in between the multiplications. But this time with column 2, we're going to have 79 and 122. Let's take care of row 2. So my orange numbers changed to 3 over 29 and 4 over 29. And I know I'm going to need those in both multiplications of my bottom row or row 2. And then I can carry down my purple numbers from my columns. I know I'm going to need 73 and 112, and then 79 and 122. This time when you do the multiplication, you should get 123 below it, and then 125. Okay. Our next step is to find out what our message is. Our message list, starting with our first green matrix we found, was 18, 21, 14, 0. And then 1, 23, 1, 25 coming from the second green matrix that we found. But we're not going to think that this is our answer. We still need to convert back to actual letters. So 18 gets us R, 21 is a U, 14 is an N, 0 is a space, and we get A, W, again, 1 is A, and 25 is Y. So our message is run away, run away. And if you're wondering where I got these numbers, or sorry, where I got the letters, don't forget that we had already assigned all of our letters a number way back up here, where A was 1, B was 2, so forth and so on. Again, I highly suggest that you have that written out on a Post-it or a note card so you don't have to write the alphabet each time you want to do one of these problems.